YouTubers, welcome back for another adventure. This is kind of the last project left, and I wanted to drag it into the garage, see what it was, and see what I'm going to do with it. Okay, here it is in all its glory, and many of you may ask, why the heck did you bring it home? Parts. Starting right in the front of it, I happen to need these lamps for the Sunel 110 that I've picked up a while ago. By the way, it is fairly well built. You see the grease fittings on it. The frame looks very well made. And as a matter of fact, just looking at those tires, I'm not thinking this thing has a whole load of miles on it. This thing is very, very unique. Let me show you. This is the first small CC China all-terrain vehicle that I've found that is a shaft drive. So the shaft drive is interesting. It's only 72 cc's, so it's a 70 cc. They might, I don't know, they might call it a 90, but it's 70 cc's. It comes with a lot of wiring. Wiring is good because a lot of times these connectors are hard to find, particularly that guy. That's the one that plugs into the CDI. So that's actually worth something to me. So I like all that. It did come with a voltage regulator. Looks like a two-phase model. And it did come with a CDI sitting right there. The seat looks halfway decent. It's blue. I don't know if I got the plastic with this one or not. We were expecting snow when this and all its brothers came in, so it was kind of like putting things away quickly, so I didn't go through stuff as I normally do. And check out all these wires, man. I got enough wires here. I can wire up a Pinto or something. Normally the batteries are dead, and I'm anticipating, especially all that white on the cell, that's a dead battery. What also makes this interesting is one could actually kind of extend the frame. If you cut down here, right, you're at a straight spot, you could extend. If you cut up here, you're relatively straight also. It's got a fairly wide footprint. I'd say that could, even for the front wheels, that might even be somewhere around 40 inches, give or take a couple of inches, which means it wouldn't be quite as tippy for a full-size person. So what am I going to do with it? First thing I want to do is I want to see if this engine has any life left in it. And the spark plug is missing. So I guess I'm going to squirt a little oil in there. It doesn't have a plate here over the flywheel. So I'm going to have to hit the electric starter, hope for the best. When it comes to buying these things for parts, and just as real quick, this would probably be your least desirable motor combo to get, unless you have some project in mind that you're building. And the reason why I say that, first of all, 70 cc's, that's a little light. Second of all, shaft drive, unless you're going to move that whole drive train to something else, shaft drive is, you know, less desirable, right? You can't put a sprocket on it and hook it to any axle in the world. So that's kind of a strike 2. Strike 3, this is only an automatic forward. You don't have reverse. The most desirable motor to me, as I'm looking for motors, no matter what the CC is, I like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 transmission. Hand clutch is always nice. And 1, 2, 3 with reverse, even if it's only 110 cc's. It's a desirable motor because you can put it on any kind of cart or whatever and kind of create something. If you don't have reverse, I mean, 1, 2, 3, and maybe even a 4-speed is handy. Reverse for a utility wagon makes it much more valuable. So that motor has a few strikes against it. But once again, when I was looking at this thing, I was thinking parts. I'm looking at, you know, it looks like 4 good tires. That cylinder head is worth something. The starter's worth something. All the wiring is worth something. I mentioned these lights. I need them elsewhere. The seat's good. Right? There's a lot of good stuff here. And if I could get the engine back to life, this could be interesting as an extend the frame type unit. You know, and once you extend the frame, right, you could theoretically put a little basket or whatever in the back. It's heavy. It's not one of those lightweights. Heavy is good because it's better built, right? You can see the gussets, right? The gussets are good. That makes them stronger. Bad is heavy. Heavy without reverse is a real pain in the neck. So anyway, I thought parts, I got what I consider a pretty good deal on it. So let's go forward and see what we got. Okay, I like to start in a logical place. First of all, when we get the wire harness out of here, right. Secondly, I misspoke. There was a cover over this, and I took it off to 8 millimeters. And now the thing is to see if the engine will turn over, see if it's seized. You want to go a couple of full RPMs or more. Right, you see how it kind of spun a little bit. Normally that's the valve springs that make them do that. Actually, the engine feels okay. We could probably get this pig started. Imagine that. This thing will actually run again. So as part of the double deal, Kevin Bergeron threw in boxes of parts, and if you guys work on this stuff, you know this stuff is like gold, right? You need something, and whether it be an exhaust system or whatever you need, it's right here, particularly for bolts, right? You see all those bolts in there. This stuff is like gold to me. Even something silly, right? Oh, stupid wire. Why didn't he just throw it away? This is this lights up the lights on the dashboard on one of these things, whether it's forward or reverse or whatever. If you kind of look on there, you could see how something would slide by and short various of those copper things together. But that plug right there goes into a CDI, and they're kind of hard to get. But anyway, I wanted to get these parts kind of in one place for 2 reasons. The first reason is to see exactly what I have, and the second reason is I need an intake manifold. I have an exhaust system, but I need an intake manifold, and homie don't seem to be having one of those. So I know one came with the deal, but unfortunately I must have put it elsewhere. It didn't follow these boxes to me. So anyhow, I guess I got to go dig up one. So when you're piecing together a basket case like this one is, you always run across good news and bad news. So the good news, right, the engine seems to turn round. It's not banging into anything. I found the intake manifold, right? All good news. The starter's alive. So all happiness. Now for the bad news. It appears as if the spark plug hole is boogered up. I can't seem to get the compression tester to go into it. I can't get a spark plug to go into it. So I have a tap here. And even trying to get the tap into it, you know, I checked it to make sure it's correct with the spark plug. And yet that doesn't seem to even want to go in. So there's a possibility I might have to pull the head off this machine. And at some point you begin to weigh, right? How far do I want to go with this? Especially considering I don't think I'm going to do too much with it. But then on the other hand, if I decide to do something with it and I don't have a spark plug in it, I'm a bit of a fool, right? Because how long is the engine going to live before it goes ugly on me? So anyway, we're approaching a crossroads. I'm going to put the thing on its side and attempt to get this tap in there, because it just doesn't seem to want to go for some reason. So anyway, so Yamoto or Yamoto anyway, to tap out this spark plug hole, I just couldn't get it started with it horizontal. I had to kind of get it more or less vertical like this, but it tapped out. I'm not quite sure how it got boogered up in there. Maybe somebody tried to put a bolt in there to keep the water out or something. Anyhow, it's cleaned up, and the tap size, for anybody who's interested, right? Sometimes you guys wonder if you're buying taps. This is the smaller spark plug, the ones that go into the CT70s and so forth. So this is an M1010. So M10 and then 1.0. For anybody who just wants to buy one tap rather than a set. Or if you are buying a set, make sure that M, as in Mary, 10 times 1.0 is in that set if you have any hopes at all of cleaning out a spark plug hole. I started putting the oil checks on video. There's really a few reasons why you want to check the oil. First of all, to make sure there's some oil in there. Also to get a look at the quality of the oil, right? If it is chocolate milk, you know that you don't want to go too much further before you change it out, right? Or if you do get it to start, you don't want to sit there racing the engine for 15 minutes. You're doing damage. I turned the engine over for about 30 seconds without the compression tester hooked up, just to kind of move a little oil around. So now the compression tester. We're only coming up at 60, a little over 60, 65 maybe. My experience is that's kind of a little bit light. I think I'm going to try a wet compression test on it. I don't know if you guys remember, but back when we were working on that Bayou over there, that 300cc Bayou, the compression was low and it wouldn't start. Then I shot some oil in there, the compression came up, it started, and then the compression stayed good. So, you know, a little shot of oil into the cylinder really doesn't hurt, and as a matter of fact, it could help quite a lot. This is a wet compression check. I mean, 70, 72, 75 if I really tilt my head. Maybe it'll start and maybe it won't. Here's the carburetor. We're going to smash on there. You know, KE. And it says standard of Japan. You know, it's one of those $20 eBay China all-terrain vehicles. It's a PZ22. The nice thing about these, well, you can see the PZ22. You have captive bolts on it, so it's easy to put on. It's all set up for a cold start. We got our little miniature gas tank here. You like that? Spark plugs in. Portable CDI box. The portable CDI box. Right? The old blue and white goes to the input of the CDI in there. You got ground. You got ground. Obviously I have 12 volts, a CDI, and a spark coil in there, so that's all ready to go. We got the jump pack all hooked up. Let me just set up the camera. We'll see if we can't fire this up. And I'm also going to give it a little bit of gas to see if it'll move. I don't know if this thing moves or not, right? They might have fried the clutch, which is what killed it. Once again, it's single speed automatic. Here's my throttle, right? So when I give it a bunch of throttle, we'll see if this thing doesn't leap forward and how much damage we could do. Stay tuned. Choke on. Chokes on. Portable CDI on. And what does it do? Oh, it starts. I like that. I like it. So here we are. Quite honestly, whether I'm working on this China all-terrain vehicle or I'm working on a Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki single-cylinder motorcycle, all this stuff is basically the same. So it's easy to say, oh, I only want to see something on a Honda. Everything I did with this bike, quite honestly, you might have to do to a Honda. So I would consider the lessons valid no matter what you're working on. Anyway, I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Thank you for all the support from 2020. I hope I still have it for 2021. And we'll catch up with you guys on the next video. God knows what I'm going to get into. I don't even know.